You've probably seen the video. A $249 a month Tesla house, leaked patents, a secret factory in Nevada, and Elon Musk supposedly confirming it just weeks ago. Here's the uncomfortable truth. None of it checks out. There's no verified patent, no confirmed factory, and no official launch date from Tesla. If that video gave you hope that you might finally afford a safe place to grow old, I'm not here to take that hope away. I'm here to replace it with something stronger, the facts. Because hidden behind that fake headline is a real question that deserves a real answer. Tesla does build the solar panels and batteries that could power a home like this. And real companies are already producing factory-built tiny homes for far less than traditional construction. So, what's actually true? What's still just an idea? And what would it really take to turn this rumor into something you could actually buy? Stick with me as we break it down piece by piece, starting with the question every viral video conveniently avoids. The land problem. Nobody talks about. Here's the question no one answers, because it's the one that can end the dream before it even begins. Even if a cheap little house existed tomorrow, where could you legally put it? Many towns still have zoning laws that require a home to be at least 600, 800, or even over 1,000 square feet before it qualifies as a legal residence. A 240 square foot home, no matter how well designed, can be rejected by the local planning office before it's even delivered. That's not a technology problem, it's a paperwork problem. And paperwork has crushed more tiny home dreams than poor construction ever has. Here's another detail that never makes it into the viral videos. Even if the land is empty, building on it isn't cheap. Running electricity, installing and approving a septic system, and setting up a legal water connection can easily cost between $20,000 and $30,000 before the first wall goes up. Add those costs to an inexpensive house, and most of the savings disappear. But this challenge already has a real solution, just not from Tesla. Over the last several years, states facing rapid population growth have started changing the rules for what are called accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. Think of them as small legal homes built on land that already has power, water, and a registered address. California updated its ADU laws starting around 2019, removing many of the permit delays, parking rules, and size restrictions that once made these homes difficult to approve. Texas and Florida have also relaxed rules for manufactured and modular homes as demand for affordable housing continues to grow, and that changes the entire strategy. Instead of buying raw land and spending tens of thousands to develop it, a more practical option is placing a factory-built home where utilities already exist. That could be a family member's backyard, a lot in an existing manufactured home community, or property in one of the states actively supporting this type of housing. Some communities also offer long-term land leases, where you own the house but pay a fixed monthly fee for the land beneath it. That's already how thousands of manufactured home communities operate across the country, with no connection to any car company. Millions of Americans already live this way. It's a proven housing model, not an experiment. There's one more important detail. How a small home is classified affects what you pay every year after moving in. In some states, a manufactured home that stays on wheels or a chassis is treated as personal property instead of real estate. That can mean much lower taxes, sometimes almost none, compared to a permanent house of the same size. But once it's fixed to a permanent foundation, most states classify it as real property and regular property taxes apply. That single decision by a county assessor can change your yearly costs by thousands of dollars, and it has nothing to do with who built the home. So no, there's no confirmed Tesla land program or secret cybertown, but the legal foundation for affordable factory-built homes already exists in several states, and that's the first thing you should check before believing any company's pitch, no matter how convincing the video looks. What's actually watching you? Now here's the part that should concern you more than the price. What happens to a camera or microphone once it's inside your bedroom or bathroom? That concern stops many older buyers in their tracks, and it's a fair question. Any device designed to detect a fall needs some kind of sensor in the room. So the real question is, Where does that information go? The answer is more reassuring than most people expect. When these systems are designed properly, they use something called edge computing, or local processing. In simple terms, the device processes the information inside your home instead of sending everything to a distant data center. A well-designed fall detection sensor analyzes movement using its own built-in processor. It doesn't upload raw video or audio unless it detects what appears to be a real emergency, such as a fall followed by no movement. Only then does it send a short encrypted alert requesting help. This isn't a future feature that companies are promising. It's already how many of today's better fall detection wearables and privacy-focused smart cameras work. And that's the standard every company should meet when selling sensors for bedrooms or bathrooms, whether it's Tesla or anyone else. The real difference between a helpful device and a surveillance device isn't whether it has a camera. It's whether your daily footage is stored on a server you can't access, or whether it never leaves your home at all. Some real products already highlight this. Certain medical alert systems and newer smart home displays now promote on-device processing as a key feature. Why? Because enough people started asking about privacy. That's the market working the way it should. Real demand for privacy is shaping better products instead of companies simply claiming they care in a press release. There's another thing worth checking, and it has nothing to do with the sensor itself. It's the paperwork. Real privacy isn't just a feature. It's written into the terms that explain who owns your data, how long it's stored, and whether it can be shared or sold. That applies to a smart doorbell, a fitness tracker, or a future smart home. It's not exciting reading, and most people skip it. But it's one of the best ways to tell the difference between a company that truly respects privacy and one that simply uses the word privacy to sound trustworthy. Here's the reality. Tesla hasn't confirmed this kind of design for any housing product, mainly because no such housing product has officially been announced. But these are exactly the questions you should ask before trusting any aging-in-place device with a camera or microphone. Does it process information locally? Does it only send an alert during a real emergency? If a salesperson can't answer those questions clearly, that hesitation tells you a lot. Think of it like a smoke detector. It doesn't call your family every time you burn toast, and it doesn't stream your kitchen to a remote server. It stays silent until there's a real fire. Any home monitoring sensor should work the same way, quiet until it truly matters, not constantly recording your life somewhere you can't see or control. The numbers that actually make this work now. Let's get to the part that really changes the conversation, because this is completely real. It's also the real reason a company like Tesla might be interested in small, energy-efficient homes. Not out of generosity, but because the economics benefit them too. A home with a solar roof and a home battery, both products Tesla already sells, is built to generate more electricity than a small, efficient home usually needs, especially in sunny places like Nevada, Texas, or Arizona. A single Tesla Powerwall stores about 13.5 kilowatt-hours of energy. Add a modest daily surplus from a properly positioned solar roof, and one efficient home can end each day with several extra kilowatt-hours sitting unused inside its battery. This doesn't require any new technology. It's the same equipment already installed on hundreds of thousands of homes across the country. Here's where it gets interesting, and you can do the math yourself. Take a small daily energy surplus from one house and multiply it by 1,000 homes in the same neighborhood. Those extra kilowatt hours quickly become several megawatts of stored electricity, enough to make a real difference during a heat wave or a winter freeze. This isn't science fiction. Tesla already operates virtual power plant programs using stored energy from thousands of home batteries during grid emergencies in places like South Australia and parts of California. Homeowners are paid for sending that electricity back to the grid. In South Australia, the program was designed to connect tens of thousands of homes, each equipped with solar panels and batteries, into one coordinated energy resource that grid operators could access within minutes. Instead of being just a household backup system, those batteries become a small source of recurring income for homeowners. A similar idea proved valuable during the Texas power crisis in February 2021, when battery-backed homes kept the lights on while large parts of the grid stayed without power for days. Now follow this idea all the way through, because it's the part most videos leave out. If a company sells small solar-powered homes at a low upfront price, it may not be doing it simply as a favor. 1,000 connected homes become a valuable energy resource that can support the power grid during emergencies, while the company is compensated for providing that electricity. You get lower energy bills and a home that keeps running during outages. They gain access to a distributed power plant without building a traditional one. That's not a rumor or a leaked plan. It's simply how solar panels and home batteries work when enough of them are connected together, regardless of which company's logo is on the wall. Here's the one idea worth remembering. If the energy system is designed well, you're not just buying a house. You're also owning a small share of a power network that happens to be your home. Building for the body. You actually have now for the final piece, and the one that determines whether any of this is truly practical for the people who need it most. Does the design actually fit a body that doesn't move the way it did 20 years ago? This is where many tiny homes fall short. A steep step at the entrance, a narrow doorway that won't fit a walker, or a bathroom where one slippery tile can lead to a serious fall. Those aren't small issues if you or someone you love has arthritis, uses a cane, or simply doesn't recover from a stumble the way they once did. The good news is that this problem has already been solved. For decades, experts have refined an approach called universal design, long before tiny homes became popular online. That includes zero-step showers, grab bars built directly into the walls instead of added after an accident, wider doorways and hallways that allow a wheelchair or walker to turn easily, and cabinets, closets, and switches placed where they can be reached without bending, stretching, or climbing. These aren't luxury features. They're often the difference between living independently and needing daily assistance. There's another important point. Our needs change over time, and the best homes are designed with that in mind. Making a hallway wide enough for a wheelchair during construction costs very little. Trying to make that same change after the house is finished can cost thousands of dollars and weeks of work. The lesson from years of accessible design is simple. Build for the body you may have 10 years from now, not just the one you have today. Planning ahead is always cheaper than remodeling later. But there's another challenge people overlook even more than accessibility: loneliness. A tiny home can be perfectly accessible and still be a difficult place to grow old if you're isolated. That's why the best version of this idea was never a single house sitting alone on an empty lot. It's small groups of homes built around shared outdoor spaces, community gardens, or common porches where neighbors naturally meet and spend time together. This model already exists. It's called co-housing, and older adults have successfully used it for decades because it addresses loneliness just as thoughtful design addresses physical barriers. Combine an accessible, energy-efficient home with a community built around real human connection, and you solve three of the biggest problems many retirement communities still struggle with: cost, physical safety, and loneliness. No thermostat or camera can solve those on its own. So where does all of this leave us? The $249 Tesla house that's been shared across the internet isn't confirmed, isn't based on leaked evidence, and doesn't exist as a real product. But nearly everything used to make that story sound believable is real. It just comes from different places. The solar panels and battery systems. The legal path through states that support accessory dwelling units. The privacy benefits of local, on-device processing, and decades of proven accessible design. What doesn't exist yet is one company bringing all of those real pieces together into one affordable product at scale. That's the real opportunity hidden behind this story. It's also the biggest warning. The next time a video promises an exact price, a launch date, and claims a well-known executive confirmed everything, ask one simple question. Where's the actual source? Not reportedly, not leaked, a real source you can verify. If no one can provide one, treat that claim the same way you treat a stranger's promise on a street corner. Interesting. Maybe even hopeful. Would you give up a little privacy in exchange for lower electricity bills? Or is privacy something you'd never compromise on, no matter the savings? Share your thoughts in the comments. Please subscribe to the Timefall channel, and don't forget to like the video.